Madam Gracious Kanzieni from Educare, Tanzania. Warmly welcome in our best media, Educare TZ, so you can proceed with our A-level tutorials. And my online student here, we have our chemistry subject and our class level is Form 5. So we are proceeding with our amazing topic, which is inorganic chemistry, and we are discussing our second subtopic, which is all about selected compound of metal. Okay, I can remind you in the previous session we tried to look on the issues of carbonate. We tried to discuss a lot about the carbonate. So now let us proceed with the concept of the carbonate, and here we're going to see the effect of the heat carbonate. Kwamba once the carbonate are exposed to the heat source, what are their effect? Tunaenda kupata matokeo gani? Je, the decomposition will take place or not? So these are the effect of heat carbonate. The effect of heat carbonate. Let us start our discussion from here. Okay, anasema kwamba the carbonate of sodium and potassium are very stable compound, hence do not decompose on heating. Sasa once we talk about the effect, ina maana tunaangalia ni matokeo gani, what are the impact once we expose this carbonate to the heat source. Sasa anasema kwamba carbonate of sodium and potassium, these are very stable compound, ni very stable carbonate compound. Why? Because the sodium and potassium, these are very reactive metals in the reactivity series. Ni zile metal ambazo ni most reactive, most one ambazo zipo juu kabisa kwenye reactivity series. Sasa endapo zinaenda kutengeneza the compound of carbonate, for instance tunaweza tukawa na sodium carbonate or potassium carbonate, whatever. Hasa utakuja kuona kwamba this compound once they are exposed in the heat, obvious anasema kwamba hence they do not decompose on heating. Maana yake kwamba no decomposition or no reaction once we expose this stable compound of potassium carbonate and sodium carbonate on heating. Okay, anasema kwamba the other metal carbonate decompose on heating to give the metal oxide and carbon dioxide. But you can see that other oxide except the sodium carbonate as well as potassium carbonate zenyewe tu ndo hazidecompose, lakini utaona kwamba other carbonate obvious they decompose on heating, then zinaenda kutupatia the compound of the oxide of metal, but also we are going to form the gas known as carbon dioxide gas. So my student, this explanation can be related or can be demonstrated through the following reactions. So these are the reactions which can demonstrate what we have discussed here about the effect of the carbonate. As you can see here, for instance, we have the sodium carbonate. So remember sodium carbonate tumesema kwamba this sodium it is most reactive metal. Kwa hiyo inaenda kutengeneza the stable carbonate compound. Kwa hiyo as long as you expose it on heat, anasema kwamba no decomposition. That's why you see here the sodium carbonate it undergo reaction under heat and the product is no reaction, or you can say no decomposition. The same applied to potassium carbonate, itakuwa hivi no decomposition. Why? Because this carbonate are very stable compound due to this most reactive metal potassium and sodium. But you can see for the other carbonates, it is different. For instance, you can see here we have this calcium carbonate, we have magnesium carbonate, zinc carbonate, lead carbonate, and copper carbonate. So you're going to see that both of them hizi reaction zote au hizi carbonates zote zimeundergo reaction under heat condition. Ina maana ni thermal decomposition ina take place, therefore tunaenda kupata the oxide of metal. When we talk about the oxide of metal, maana kama tunaangalia ile metal ambayo imekuwa associated with the oxygen. For instance, tuna calcium oxide, tuna magnesium oxide, tuna zinc oxide, tuna lead oxide, tuna copper oxide. All these are the metal oxide compound. But also this reaction involves the releasing of the carbon dioxide gas. Kwa hiyo endapo utakutana na hili swali amekuletea hizi reaction anataka complete, very simple. On your mind you have to know that the thermal decomposition of the carbonate moja kwa moja naenda kupata product kuu mbili. Naenda kupata metal oxide, lakini pia naenda kupata carbon dioxide gas. So you will complete your reaction like this one. Na kama umepewa sodium carbonate au potassium carbonate, unajua this moja kwa moja no decomposition. Okay, so now you can see that the degree of the heating required to decompose the metal carbonate varies from one metal to another. Sasa of course tumeona kwamba zile metal ambazo zina decompose on heating, moja kwa moja tunaenda kupata carbon dioxide and metal oxide. Lakini anakuja kutuambia kwamba degree of heating ilikuwa, maana kwamba tunaangalia ile nyuzi joto ambayo itahitajika, ile amount of heat au ile energy ambayo itahitajika kuensure kwamba ile compound inakuwa break up, inavunjika ili kwenda kutengeneza ile product. Anasema kwamba this degree of heat required it vary, inatofautiana. Anasema it vary from one metal to another. Maana yake kwamba tukirudi hapa tutakapokuja kuangalia the degree of heating of calcium carbonate and copper carbonate, itakuwa ni vitu viwili tofauti. The same apply to magnesium carbonate and copper carbonate, itakuwa ni vitu viwili tofauti. The amount of heat required here to decompose this calcium carbonate and amount of heat required in magnesium carbonate haviwezi kuwa vitu sawa, because the degree of heating it vary depending on the metal. Kwamba hapa tuna calcium, hapa tuna magnesium, hapa tuna zinki, kwa zile metals zinatofautiana. The same their degree of heating will vary to each other. Anasema kwamba for instance magnesium and calcium carbonate vary from one metal to another. Kwa hiyo ukija kuangalia the degree of heating ambayo ilikuwa involved kwenye calcium carbonate kwenda kutengeneza calcium oxide and carbon dioxide gas, na ile degree of heating ambayo ilikuwa involved or required katika magnesium carbonate kwenda kutengeneza magnesium oxide and carbon dioxide gas, actually they vary to each other. Why? Because it depend on their element. Calcium and magnesium is a different element, though we are talking about carbonate. You have to note this. Hakisha unainoti hii. Unaweza kukutana na swali. Kumbuka inorganic ni maswali ya kujieleza tu. Akataka reason why this degree of heating ina vary katika effect of the heat on carbonates. So this is the reason, simply because they vary from one metal to another. Okay, anasema kwamba magnesium and calcium carbonate decompose only on strong heating. The other metal decompose on mild heating. So you can see the difference. Sasa on your mind you can remember that magnesium and calcium zote zipo kwenye group number 2 element. Lakini magnesium na calcium yupo chini kwenye reactivity series. Kwamba as you go down ndipo namkuta nani? Yule calcium. Sasa utakuja kuona kwamba anasema magnesium and calcium carbonate this decompose all on strong heating. Maana yake kwamba we expect that the degree of heating of this compound, the carbonate of magnesium, the carbonate of sulfate, huwa zinakuwa na very very strong heating. Yani ile amount of heat itakuwa ni kubwa sana, and you can see that kwa sababu kuna utofauti pia kati ya calcium metal na magnesium metal, kila mmoja atakuwa na degree yake katika kesi ya heating, lakini always they decompose only on strong heating. Maana kwamba tukiwa na low heating or weak, maana yake kwamba hii reaction haiwezi kutake place completely, haiwezi kutake completely. Okay, anasema the other metal decompose on mild heating. Sasa hapa tunapokuja kuangalia mild heating, maana kwamba tunaangalia ile average heating condition. Sasa utaona kwamba other carbonates zenyewe zinakuwa zina involve hiyo mild heating, lakini pia hiyo mild heating inaweza katofautiana pia, kwa sababu hapa tutakuwa na zinc, hapa tutakuwa na lead, hapa tutakuwa na copper. Zile elements zinatofautiana moja hadi nyingine. Kwa hiyo utakuja kuona kwamba of course zina decompose under mild heating, lakini tunapokuja kwenye case ya degree of heating it will be different because of the different metals. Tunapokuja kwa metal ya copper, metal ya zinc, metal ya lead, utakuja kuona kwamba they require the different degree of heating. So my student, this is all about the effect of the effect of heat on carbonate. Ina maana hapa tunajaribu kuangalia madhara ya this carbonate compound once we expose it on the what? On the heat condition. Kwa hiyo tunaangalia ni matokeo gani ambayo tunaweza tukayapata. So that is all about. And now my student, I can say that this marks the end of our first session. Stay tuned in your media so you can proceed with the second part of our discussion. Thank you.